Good afternoon, and welcome to Jeff and the Rabbi. You know, we've just had another week of senseless mass shootings in America. 22 people were killed in Texas and 9 killed in Ohio. What the heck is going on? It seems that many of the perpetrators of large group killings these days, that are getting most of the news coverage at least, happen to be white males. In reality, white males are responsible for fewer mass shootings than what they represent of the population, but the number is still much higher for white men to commit these mass shootings than single murders. What has changed in society to cause this? First, we got to look at the role of the man. The role of the man has changed dramatically in our culture. A young man hears every day how he is the oppressor and suffering from toxic masculinity. In times past, he had the responsibility of being the patriarch of the family. Now marriage and the importance of the man's role as the leader of the family has disappeared. From preschool through college, boys are lectured about their oppressive behavior and are trained to feel that they are the natural predators toward girls. They are taught that their natural urges toward the opposite sex are all linked to rape culture. Fraternities and male sports teams are all just rape training associations. As far as being white, all little white boys are taught at an early age that they have been granted this abusive privilege over everyone else. They are naturally bad and unfair. They need to spend their lives apologizing for something that is not in their control. They are told that they are responsible for slavery and Jim Crow. They are told that every wrong in society begins with them. Then our progressive culture ties it all in a disturbing, psychotic bow by taking away the one thing that was holding these young white men mentally intact: God. Once the alt-left insisted that the real enemy in society was Christianity and the overall belief in God, there was nothing left for the young white male to hang on to. The ladies on The View look at the white Christian male as the ultimate jihadist in America, and there is nobody coming to their defense. Every group in our country has protected status except white men. They are the real problem, not the people illegally crossing our borders, not the people silencing their neighbors because of their political beliefs, not the Americans who verbally attack our country every day or refuse to sell shoes with our flag printed on it. The real enemy of society today is the white man, not based on the content of his character, but rather the color of his skin. When this poor white kid, stripped of his God, his worth, and his gender, finally starts to believe everything that the gummy-chewing, statue-destroying, American-hating progressive rabble label him with, he has no alternative left in his mind but to go down in a blaze of glory. For those of you over 40, not me, but for those of you over 40, you probably remember the movie Trading Places. That was with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy back in the 80s. Two rich guys made a bet that if they can change the environment of a wealthy man and a criminal, the criminal will become an outstanding member of society and the wealthy man will take up a life of crime. It is almost as if the progressive elite today have the exact same wager. Let's see if we can take good, God-fearing people and lead them to eventually commit mass murder. Well, guess what? In the movie, it actually worked. Dan Aykroyd, the well-educated man, does eventually end up committing a crime and attempting suicide. But it was a movie, so it all worked out great in the end. But real life is not Hollywood. When you intentionally destroy people in the real world, they sometimes go down swinging. Maybe it's time that good people stand up and say, enough is enough. We are tired as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. That's actually from another movie. But how can we allow the left in our society to feel so good by treating other people so badly? Can the rabbi show us the way to end this intentional assault on people based solely on their immutable characteristics?
Is that all you want me to do?
That's all we got to do.
Okay,
Small
well,
little thing to ask of you today.
Sure, we can figure this all out. We'll get it all straight,
I think we
and
can figure
within
it right
the next,
here.
we'll have it all wrapped up. I would tell you something that I have observed, and I've seen this in my synagogue life. And I think this is true in the world in general. There's an interesting thing about males, about men. The men like to do things that only they can do.
I get it.
It's really very interesting. It's very interesting. Like, for example, once upon a time, in Orthodox congregations, it is still this way, that only men can read from the Torah. They take out the Torah scroll, big part of the weekly service, we take out the Torah scroll and read to the congregation from the Torah scroll. You will find in many places, of course, as time went on, many liberal branches of Judaism felt that that's discriminatory. Why can't women also read from the Torah? And they opened it up, and women started also being the Torah readers. As time went on, they found that there were no boys reading the Torah anymore. A lot of women were reading the Torah, but no boys were reading the Torah. What happened? It's a strange thing. And I've seen this over and over again, that when things are exclusive, then boys like to do it. Now, why is that? Why do boys like to do it? Now, once upon a time, of course, we all know that there were superheroes.
Yep.
You know, I was just on a plane, and I caught a few minutes of someone else watching some superhero thing. And of course, there was the female superhero.
Yeah, the Captain Marvel, but now Captain Marvel's a girl. I saw that.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was just walking around like kicking everyone and punching people out and, you know, leaping tall buildings in a single bound,
right,
and doing all kinds of stuff. And which is also one of the things that I always marvel about superheroes, which is they usually, you know, in the chase scenes, they're always running after the bad guy, and they cause all kinds of mayhem along the way. You know, like there's always the guy, the fruit seller that they run past, they knock his whole thing over, right? Which, of course, you know, now the guy's like wrecked because he lost all of his income for this week, and he's living like hand to mouth, right? And they smash cars all over the place. And what about all these people with all these poor smashed cars? And and are there no like victims? And no one got hurt in any of these smashed cars while they were driving down the wrong way down the street and all that stuff. Right? So anyway, she's doing all that and throwing cars around and fighting. Then she picks on a little old lady. And it turns out that the little old lady is the bad guy in disguise. Ooh. So the lady and the little old lady are having it out.
Duking it out right
there.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
I didn't see that movie. So
and the people who are standing by are trying to get in the way. Like, how come you're picking on the little old lady? But of course she like throws them away. And anyway, the bottom line is that women are strong. We all know that that's what it's all about. Women are strong, and women are soccer players, and they win the first place, and you know they're and even if they don't get the same amount of pay, then they will get the same amount of pay, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So and women, of course, are Supreme Court justices, and there are movies about how women become Supreme Court justices. They never make movies about how a man becomes a Supreme Court justice, and they also don't make a movie about how a woman, let's say, has a family.
Right.
You know, can you imagine a movie about a woman who raised like wonderful and outstanding children?
I would be triggered.
Who went on to go become great people?
No.
Right, and did wonderful things for the world, like, you know, became great leaders or wonderful scientists, cured cancer because of the good nurturing that they received in their home. No one would want to see that. So where's this poor guy at? So the guy is left nowhere because he can't be the strong figure that saves the world because the women are doing that. He can't even join the army, you know, which guys always used to love to do. They show the pictures of the helicopter landing and the guys jumping off and they're shooting their guns and every guy's going like, wow, that looks really cool. I'll join the army. Except now that the one goes up, when the camera pans in on the person that jumped off, that person is a woman.
Well, there's one guy with a dress that jumps off afterwards on an helicopter.
Right.
He had to help down, but still.
So he can't be a warrior, right? He can't be a savior. He's certainly not going to be a cop. He can't be anything, right? So therefore, guys are finding it very difficult to find their expression. And of course, when you get a certain segment of the population, they get angry about that. And they want to blame whoever it was that they believe or that their website brought them to believe was at fault for their emasculated sense of being.
Right.
And therefore they want to show that you guys are wrong, but I can straighten it out because I'll show you. I can be strong and I can be powerful and I can make the whole world cry because I can pick up my gun, which can shoot like 50,000 rounds within a second and a quarter, And I can cause so much mayhem that you'll all be crying because of me. Right?
That's a good point.
And therefore, I will have. Now, of course, what happens after that? Am I going to end up dying or being locked away in prison? And what's life going to be like for me when I get to prison and all that type of stuff? People don't really think ahead too much about that type of stuff, especially the type of people that are obsessed. They're really looking to go out in their blaze of glory. And what they want to do is they want to get rid of whoever it was that they believe is responsible for this mess. So you've got the perennial standbys. There's the Jews. There's, of course, always whoever is the foreigner, right? The foreigner is always like, wherever that might be, step into the, fill in the blank.
Right.
Right. And, and then you've got like people that, they can go after homosexuals or anyone that's considered to be like, of a deviant form. Now, the pity of all this really is, as you mentioned, that they don't have religion anymore. Once upon a time, when people were raised, if they had religion, so they would be trying to bring salvation to the world, or bring the world to whatever their religion is, But they don't have that anymore. Most of these guys, it doesn't play much of a role in our very secular society, which really doesn't really believe in religion all that much. So these guys really have nowhere to turn to for any internal fortitude. Who could counsel them? Who could lead them? Now, of course, it's always a small group, and as I mentioned, every society has this. Maybe if you roll it back to like the 1930s, so these guys would have put on brown shirts and got clubs, and they would have gone in and, they would have been sent in to go like smash up Jewish stores or beat up some other people, whatever particular group, find some gypsies and,
Right.
crack their heads open. Then they would have come back and it felt pretty good about like the fact that we are cleansing society, we're making it better. So, what do we do? Okay, that's the problem as you outlined. How are we going to turn this around? It's a big problem because in order to turn it around, the society has to re-embrace a concept of roles. And our society is hell-bent, and when I say hell-bent, I mean hell-bent, on stripping all roles from society.
I mean, we're clear on that.
Yeah.
We say it every day.
Absolutely. However, we are going to find, and these people are the illness that is produced by that we are going to find that a society without roles produces disaffected people, and disaffected people, I mean, you can take away all the guns, they'll get knives. Whatever it is, they'll come up with something else. No guns, they'll get knives. And they'll do something. But they must do something because they can plow their car. They'll drive their car through a crowded shopping street, right? They'll take out the people that way. They'll do whatever it takes. They will do it because they are desperately looking for a sense of meaning in their life. And in this existential society, where are we going to find a sense of meaning? Now, a parallel to this is the people that we don't talk about. Who's the parallel? All the teens that are committing suicide.
Right.
Those are the parallel. See, they break into two groups. Some people just say, I can't handle life, I'm going to commit suicide. The other people say, I can't handle life, I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory and commit suicide. So some people kill a whole bunch of people while committing suicide, and the others do it quietly and they just kill themselves, and then they're gone. Some people crave that sense of glory that they get from killing other people, and other people just want to stop the pain. Either way, those groups, they're in drastic pain. The pain is caused by a lack of roles. There is no purpose in society. That is the existential dilemma that our society is rolling onto. And guess what you think? What do you think? I think the solution is to all this.
Well, I know what your solution is, and I'm going to follow up on that. Yours is Torah study and going back to God, and I'll after you discuss that, I have some more.
There you go. God creates everyone. Certainly, we all know that God loves everyone. He gives them, though, a role and a purpose. And that's the one thing that you can count on. If you get up and you go outside today and you do whatever you do, whatever you interact. As a matter of fact, sometimes if you can't even get up, if you can think, if you can experience, and you can control your mind, you can have purpose in your day and therefore in your life. And you can go to bed at night. Even a guy that's stuck in a dungeon somewhere can go to bed at night knowing that God gave him life today. God had a reason for doing that.
Right.
And therefore, I took the gift and I used it to the best of my ability. You can go to bed and you say, hey, I did something pretty good today. Now, there might be some people that will think that, well, yeah, what God wanted me to do was go out and kill people. But, we're not finding that so much anymore. Once upon a time, maybe we thought we had the jihadists and all that, but remember the good old days?
2 years ago,
Yeah,
3 years
right.
ago, way back when.
Remember the good old days?
Yeah.
When people were at least killing because they said, like Allah Akbar, and they went and killed people. Like, we don't even have those guys anymore.
Right.
We just got these mindless people that just are angry.
Well, I just want to add a little bit more to that, maybe take it a little further. And what I'm thinking, it's a different theory I'm working on here, is that God creates man in his own image. And obviously, if you're created in the image of God, you're created good. And every man is created good. Inside him, he's good. And this is what people mistake. Like they think back to the 30s. Well, what if the Nazis? They weren't monsters. The Nazis were good people. The Nazis actually went and became Nazis because they were good. They were the good people. They were protecting their country from racists. These Jew-privileged people who literally were attacking the German race. That's what they were told every day. They were attacking the German race. So we're going to be good Germans, and we're going to go out and take away their jobs, and we're going to take away this, and we're going to give it back to the people. These Jew-privileged people were colluding with the Russians. That's what they thought. They were communists.
Communists.
It kind of sounds familiar. These people were racist. They were baskets of deplorables, Untermensch, whatever you want to call them.
They're vermin, rats.
They were vermin. Like we kind of use those words today. So we're doing what's good. So people think Nazis were bad. They weren't bad. I mean, they were bad. But they were doing, because God created them like they created us, good. So they were doing what's good. So in today's society, I think what happens is in such a far left progressive society, you create a different sense of what's good. For me or you to be good, based on Torah study and the Jewish religion, you got to give tzedakah, you got to be kind, you got to do good deeds, you got to study Torah. You don't have to do any of that according to the religion, and it is a religion of progressivism. All you have to do is hate him. He hates those people coming across the border. You don't have to help the people crossing the border. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to spend any of your time and money helping the people crossing the border or the people that are transgendered. You just have to hate him and go on your Facebook account and say, hate him. Just go like, and hate him. So we've, I think, corrupted and perverted the sense of goodness, offered people a new sense of goodness. Don't do anything. It's easy. So then the people out here, you have two sets of people who are going to end up killing people. The people out here, wait a minute, you're telling me I'm evil, I'm doing everything good, and you're perverting the whole system, almost like in the movie, Trading Places. I'm now the bad guy. I used to be the good guy. He flips out, does what you said, and kills people. On the other side, you have the people, look at me how good I am, and they realize they're really not good. They haven't done a darn thing, but they've been told they're good just by hating everybody else. And you have a perverted sense of religion, which is progressivism.
Well, if you take God out of any system, so what are you left with? So there's only one thing that people can say. It's either going to be chaos, like everyone be running around just doing mayhem. That's one possibility. Or the only thing that people can grasp is to go all the way the other direction. Love. So you have to love everything, anything and everything. You cannot express any form of primacy because who's to say? So a man can't be primary over an animal. One person can't be primary over another. Right. So you have to have this absolute and total equality. That's the only thing you can do. And therefore, anyone, the only enemy becomes anyone that disagrees with that, right? But of course, then you're back to where you started, and then you have lovers and haters. But it has to be this idea of love, and because they have nothing else. They will find, however, that even if everyone were to love, people would still be yearning for meaning. Because let's say we all love. So now what?
The key question.
What does that do for everyone? So we all love, and I don't harm anyone, and I don't infringe upon anyone, and I let you do everything you want, even though the things that you want, I don't understand. And not only do I not understand, but they seem to be getting in my way. So I back off, and I let you have this space, and I back off and let you have that space. And pretty soon I realize I don't know who I am, what I am, and I have no space, I have no identity. And for many people, they cannot abide by that because it's meaningless. And meaningless either one or two ways. Either you're going to kill yourself or you're going to kill someone else and kill
You're
yourself.
right, and you're right. So the point is something in society, and my point is this progressive thought of telling you're good when you're really not, has taken away meaning in life. And meaning in life you get through God, because that's who gave you, that's who describes and tells you what's good.
So perhaps the difference between us is, I don't think that the progressive society is taking away the meaning in life. I think that they are, when we came to the new existential reality that there is no God, so the only thing that could step in to try to fill that void is that progressivism, but that's not going to do it. It's just not going to do it for anybody. So I don't think that that's the cause. I think that that is a result of a prior decision, and it's not going to make anyone happy. And we're seeing the results. And our society, we have yet to find a healthy, progressive society that is totally existential, that does not have God in it. I don't think one has existed. Now, people could point to a lot of godly societies and say, well, they weren't so healthy either. You know, that's true. But one thing people had was a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. I think everyone has to have that. So I think so the point is meaning in life, sense in life. If you leave people out there hanging to dry with nothing to cling on to, they're not going to survive.
Right. And these guys, these young fellows get up and they say, my life is senseless. And you want to know what senseless feels like? Watch this. You will now feel the pain that I experience every single day of my life.
Right.
Watch this. There you go. Boom.
All right. So I guess we're back to the same answer to almost every single show. You got to get more God in your life.
There you go.
It's the Rabbi Show. What are you going to do? All right. Well, we'll see you next week or the next. I don't know. We're out of town next week, but we'll.
Yeah,
Still
I'm out
summer.
of town next week. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the week after that. We'll be back.